It was supposed to be an ordinary camping trip. 3 friends, 1 ridge, a clear October sky above Brown Mountain, North Carolina. They set up their tents before dusk. The air smelled like pine and damp soil. The nearest town was hours away. No cell signal, no artificial lights, just the forest, just the dark. Just after midnight, the first light appeared. It hovered silently above the treetops, round, pale, and yellow. It didn't sway. It didn't blink. It pulsed slowly, almost like it was alive. Then came the second, then the third. They formed a triangle in the sky, motionless, silent. The campers froze. No one reached for a flashlight. No one dared to speak. The woods around them had gone dead quiet. The lights began to move. Not fast, not slow. Smooth, deliberate movements. Like they were following a path through the sky only they could see. One of them whispered, "They shouldn't be there." And he was right. What they saw that night wasn't a plane. It wasn't a drone. It wasn't anything the human mind could comfortably explain. But it wasn't new. For more than 200 years, strange lights have appeared over Brown Mountain. Soldiers saw them, farmers, railroad workers, entire families. Some wrote about them. Others refused to speak of them again. Some say the lights are spirits of the lost, Civil War soldiers looking for a way home. Others believe they're omens, warning signs that something terrible is coming. But the truth is, no one knows. They appear, they vanish. Sometimes they move with purpose. Sometimes they float like dust in the wind. Scientists have tried to explain them. People have tried to photograph them. The government has even investigated. But still, they return, again and again. And sometimes, they seem to follow you. Tonight, we're going to trace this mystery from its oldest legends to its most disturbing modern encounters. We'll look at evidence never released to the public. We'll follow the trail left behind by those who disappeared after seeing the lights. And we'll listen to the voices of those who came back, changed. Because some stories don't fade with time. Some glow in the dark. Brown Mountain rises silently in the heart of North Carolina's Pisgah National Forest. Its slopes are covered in dense forest, fog, and mystery. For centuries, it has been a place both feared and revered. The earliest written account of the strange lights dates back to 1771. John William Gerard de Brom, a German engineer and cartographer, recorded in his journal the appearance of flaming balls dancing above the mountain after a storm. He described how the lights hovered and moved with purpose, not carried by the wind, but as if alive. For the native Cherokee people, Brown Mountain was no ordinary place. They believed it was home to spirits known as the Ayanwiska, beings without form, but with the power to watch and influence the living. According to legend, these spirits could glow with a strange light, guiding or warning travelers in the dark forest. The Cherokee told stories of how their ancestors would hold ceremonies to honor these spirits, asking for safe passage and protection. They warned that following the lights too closely would cause a person to lose their way forever. During the Civil War, soldiers stationed near the mountain also reported strange lights on foggy nights. Some believed the lights were the souls of fallen comrades, restless and searching. Others whispered of secret signals sent by spies using lanterns, though no evidence ever supported this theory. In the late 1800s, local newspapers occasionally printed stories of glowing orbs and mysterious fireballs seen hovering above the ridges. Farmers working late into the evening would swear the lights followed them home. Hunters claimed to have been led astray by ghostly flames, only to find themselves lost for hours in familiar woods. Despite technological advances, the lights continued to appear well into the 20th century. Railroad workers building tracks nearby spoke of will-o'-the-wisps that danced over the rails, causing equipment malfunctions and eerie sounds at night. Scientists first arrived in the region in the 1930s, hoping to solve the mystery. They proposed natural explanations: swamp gases, atmospheric reflections, even distant car headlights. But none of these could account for the light's strange behaviors, their timing, patterns, and sudden disappearances. Today, Brown Mountain remains a remote wilderness, attracting hikers, ghost hunters, and scientists alike. Each visitor comes with a mix of skepticism and hope, eager to see the elusive lights and perhaps glimpse a secret older than the mountain itself. The land may forget the names of those who walk its paths, but the mountain remembers, and the lights still burn. In 1943, deep in the archives of the Burke County Museum, a weathered, leather-bound journal was uncovered, its pages yellowed and fragile, penned by a young pastor named Samuel Harding in 1856. Samuel's entries tell of a chilling encounter on a cold autumn evening. Walking home from a nearby village with his sister, Elizabeth, they noticed a strange red light hovering near the tree line. At first, they thought it was a lantern, but it moved unnaturally, almost as if it had a pulse, a rhythm, a breath. Samuel wrote about how the light seemed to follow them, never leaving their side. It bobbed and glowed brighter whenever they quickened their pace. As they reached the edge of the forest, Elizabeth stopped suddenly, eyes wide with terror. She whispered words that still haunt the pages. They sing without mouths. Then, without warning, the red light shot forward, engulfing her in a warm glow before vanishing into the darkness. Elizabeth disappeared for 3 days. When she finally returned, she was changed, silent, catatonic, eyes vacant, as if trapped somewhere beyond time. Samuel's journal chronicles desperate prayers, attempts to reach his sister's mind, and his growing fear that something unseen was tethering her to that red light. Neighbors whispered of other disappearances, children and travelers who vanished near the mountain's shadow, some returning with fractured memories or madness. This was no isolated event. Over the years, similar reports surfaced. Red orbs stalking lone walkers, lights drifting just beyond campfires, sometimes taking shapes, like a glowing figure or a fiery eye. Local lore calls these phenomena the walking lights, a haunting presence that moves with will and purpose, but whose origin remains a mystery. Scientists have dismissed these accounts as folklore or hallucination, but the journal's authenticity and the consistency of eyewitness testimonies make dismissal difficult. Samuel Harding's diary remains a chilling testament, one of the oldest written accounts, linking the mountain's ghost lights to something far more sinister than mere natural phenomena. The question lingers: are these lights simply atmospheric tricks, or are they something that watches and waits? For decades, scientists tried to explain Brown Mountain's ghost lights using every tool available. Atmospheric researchers studied the area, proposing that gases from decaying organic matter in the swamps, methane or phosphine, could ignite and create flickering lights known as will-o'-the-wisps. Others suggested distant car headlights or train signals reflected off low clouds. But none of these explanations fully fit the facts. The lights appeared in weather conditions that made swamp gas impossible. They showed patterns too deliberate to be random reflections or electrical phenomena. They vanished and reappeared instantly, defying known physical laws. In the 1930s, geologists mapped magnetic anomalies in the region. The mountain sat atop strange geomagnetic hotspots, causing compass needles to spin wildly. Some theorized these hotspots might be linked to the light's appearance, possibly acting as conduits for energy unknown to science. Yet, no consistent connection was ever proven. In recent years, technological advances allowed researchers to gather new evidence. Trail cameras captured glowing orbs hovering silently above the ridge. Thermal imaging showed sudden bursts of heat with no visible source. Audio recorders picked up faint, unidentifiable noises, low hums, clicks, even whispers that resembled human speech. A 2013 video recorded by hikers shows a cluster of lights moving in a tight formation, as if communicating. The footage went viral among paranormal circles, but mainstream scientists dismissed it as a hoax or camera artifact. One couple, hiking in 2018, reported something stranger. They told how the lights mirrored their footsteps on a narrow path. If they slowed, the lights slowed. When they stopped, the orbs hovered in place. They felt watched and fled before capturing any video. Skeptics argue that Brown Mountain's rugged terrain and dense forest create optical illusions, but eyewitness accounts remain consistent. Light behavior that responds to human presences is almost impossible to explain by natural means. The government took notice. During the Cold War, the area was briefly monitored for unidentified aerial phenomena. Reports were classified and never released to the public. Why would a remote mountain be of interest to national security? Some researchers believe the lights could be manifestations of a yet undiscovered energy source, perhaps linked to the mysterious geomagnetic hotspots. Others suggest they might be residual spiritual energy, echoes of ancient trauma embedded in the land. Despite all efforts, the mystery remains unsolved. Brown Mountain's lights defy science and logic. They hover just beyond understanding, waiting. In 1997, a team of documentary filmmakers set out to capture Brown Mountain's ghost lights firsthand. Their goal was simple: film undeniable proof, and finally, solve the mystery. What they found instead was something far darker. The crew arrived in Asheville, North Carolina, gathering local stories and scouting locations. They planned a 3-night stay on the ridge itself, equipped with state-of-the-art cameras, audio recorders, and sensors. The first night passed quietly. No lights appeared. The second night brought faint orbs, distant, flickering like fireflies. The crew filmed obsessively, capturing grainy footage that showed more than just light. Occasional shadows flickering near the trees, strange sounds caught on audio. On the third night, everything changed. At around midnight, the lights returned, brighter and more numerous than ever before. They circled the camp in tight formation, pulsing in rhythm. Suddenly, the electronic equipment began malfunctioning. Cameras froze, audio recorders emitted static, and all communication devices went dead. One crew member's footage showed him staring into a bright orb before his eyes glazed over, his movements slow and trance-like. His colleagues pulled him away just as the orb seemed to reach toward him. Then, silence. The crew disappeared for 48 hours. When found, they were disoriented, unable to recall what happened during those missing hours. One member displayed symptoms of severe psychological distress and was later admitted to a mental health facility. Only a fragment of their footage survived. 6 minutes of grainy, distorted images of swirling lights, accompanied by a deep, low hum. The video was dubbed the Asheville Dossier. It leaked years later and sparked heated debate in paranormal circles. Skeptics dismissed it as hoax or psychological breakdowns under stress. Believers argue it's proof the lights possess a consciousness, an intelligence beyond human comprehension. What happened to the crew remains a mystery. Their story is a chilling reminder. The ghost lights of Brown Mountain are not just a natural phenomenon. They might be something that chooses who to reveal itself to and who to consume. In recent years, a new approach emerged, decoding the lights as a form of communication. Mathematicians and linguists analyzed hundreds of light patterns recorded over decades. They noticed that the flickers weren't random. Instead, they followed complex sequences, almost like a language. Some patterns resembled Morse code, others matched binary sequences, but no known alphabet fit perfectly. In 2019, a team developed an artificial intelligence program to analyze the signals. Feeding it the light patterns, the AI produced chilling results. One decoded message read, "Here is not your place, but we are ancient. We see you." Other sequences hinted at coordinates, locations deep within the Appalachian wilderness. The implications were staggering. Could these lights be trying to communicate? Or were they warnings? Conspiracy theorists connected the phenomenon to underground tunnels and strange geomagnetic anomalies beneath Brown Mountain. Some speculated the lights originated from secret government experiments or alien bases hidden in the Appalachians. But local legends offered a different explanation. The Cherokees' ancient stories described glowing entities watching silently from the shadows, beings who spoke in whispers only the brave could hear. These spirits, they said, used light to send messages, warnings for those who dared wander too close. In 2021, audio recorders near the mountain captured strange sounds during light displays. Linguists who examined the recordings claimed to hear faint whispers, voices speaking in dead or unknown languages. Scientists remain skeptical, but admit that the patterns and sounds defy easy explanation. Whatever the source, the lights of Brown Mountain seem far more than random fireflies or natural gas. They are alive with intent, watching, waiting. For the Cherokee people, Brown Mountain was more than just a place. It was sacred ground, a realm where the living and the spiritual intertwined. Long before settlers arrived, the mountain held stories, whispered around fires, and passed down through generations. They called the glowing entities Ayanwiska, the watchers without form. Invisible to most, these beings were said to observe the world silently, their presence marked only by the eerie lights that flickered through the trees. Cherokee elders warned their people not to chase these lights. To do so was to invite danger, for the watchers were guardians of ancient secrets and the boundary between worlds. It was said that the Ayanwiska existed before time, ancient spirits born from the land itself, tasked with protecting sacred places and watching over the living. During ceremonies, the Cherokee would offer prayers and gifts, seeking permission to pass through the mountain's shadow safely. They believed that disrespecting the watchers could lead to madness or disappearance. One legend tells of a young hunter who, enchanted by the lights, followed them deep into the forest. He was never seen again. Some say his spirit joined the watchers, becoming part of the mountain's eternal gaze. These stories carried a weight of warning, an unspoken understanding that Brown Mountain was a place where the veil between realities was thin. The mountain remembered, and so did the watchers. Modern encounters mirror these ancient beliefs. Witnesses often describe a feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes tracking their every move. Hikers speak of glowing orbs that seem to pause when observed, as if aware of their attention. In 2015, a group of researchers reported hearing whispered voices during a light display, voices that echoed the Cherokee's warnings in languages long forgotten. Skeptics dismiss these tales as superstition, but for those who know the mountain, the eyes of the night are very real. They are a reminder that some places hold power beyond human understanding, and that some lights are not meant to be followed. In October 2022, 3 researchers set out to experience Brown Mountain firsthand. Equipped with thermal cameras, drones, and audio sensors, their mission was simple: observe, record, and uncover the truth behind the mysterious lights. The first night was quiet. The mountain seemed to watch them back, but no lights appeared. The forest whispered, and shadows danced just beyond their campfire's glow, but nothing more. On the second night, at around midnight, faint lights appeared, small orbs drifting slowly among the trees. The researchers tracked them with thermal imaging. The orbs moved deliberately, avoiding obstacles, as if guided by an unseen intelligence. Excitement grew. Cameras recorded continuously, capturing bursts of light that seemed to pulse with life. But the third night brought something far more unsettling. As darkness settled, dozens of lights emerged, circling their campsite in tight formation. The air grew thick and heavy, as if charged with electricity. Suddenly, all electronic devices malfunctioned. Cameras froze, sensors went silent, and radios lost signal. One researcher's camera recorded a chilling moment. A bright orb descended close to the ground and floated between the trees. The researcher appeared entranced, moving slowly toward the light as if compelled. His companions struggled to pull him back, but for a moment he seemed lost in another world. Then the lights abruptly vanished. Silence returned. The mountain exhaled. In the morning, the researchers reviewed their footage, finding strange distortions and unexplainable anomalies. The drone's video showed a perfect spiral pattern of lights hovering above the ridge, a formation unlike anything seen before. Despite the eerie experience, the team left the mountain, determined to return. They believed they had glimpsed a phenomenon far beyond natural explanation. But they also understood one thing clearly. Brown Mountain's lights were not random. They possessed intent, awareness, and a power that transcended human understanding. The mountain keeps its secrets well, and those who seek them risk losing more than just their way. The footage from the third night's expedition revealed something disturbing beyond the lights themselves. Thermal cameras captured strange distortions in the air, ripples like heat waves bending reality. At the center of the spiral formation, the atmosphere seemed to thin, as if the very fabric between worlds was stretched. On the ground where the lights gathered, plants began to grow unnaturally fast. Leaves shimmered with an iridescent glow, and flowers bloomed in patterns resembling ancient symbols. One stone, unlike any local rock, appeared overnight near the camp, a flat slab etched with strange carvings. Experts identified the markings as a mix of Cherokee symbols and ancient Sumerian glyphs. Scientists who examined the site theorized the mountain might be a thin place, a doorway between realities, where time and space fold into each other. Local legends spoke of portals hidden in the Appalachian Mountains, gateways to other dimensions, guarded by spirits and marked by light. Hikers and hunters, who unknowingly cross these invisible thresholds, tell stories of lost time, missing hours or days, and encounters with beings not of this world. Some who have returned speak of feeling changed, haunted by memories that don't belong to them. Brown Mountain, with its spiraling lights and shifting landscapes, might be one of these portals. Whether these phenomena are natural, supernatural, or something entirely unknown remains unanswered. What is clear is that the mountain's power goes beyond simple haunting. It is a crossroads, a place where the line between reality and the beyond blurs, and where some who venture too close never return the same, or at all. After centuries of sightings, legends, investigations, and disappearances, the ghost lights of Brown Mountain remain one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. Are they spirits bound to the land, an unknown energy from deep beneath the earth, or perhaps something far older, watchers from another dimension? The mountain keeps its secrets close. From the earliest Cherokee stories to modern scientific studies, the evidence points to one undeniable truth. These lights are not natural. They move with purpose, respond to observers, and seem to communicate in ways we barely understand. Those who have faced the lights often return changed, carrying stories that defy explanation. Brown Mountain doesn't just shine in the dark. It watches, and sometimes it calls. If you've ever experienced something strange, whether here or elsewhere, your story matters. Share it in the comments below. Together, maybe we can piece together the truth hidden in the shadows, because some mysteries refuse to fade. They only grow brighter. Story 2. The Flatwoods Monster. It was a quiet evening on September 12, 1952, in the small town of Flatwoods, West Virginia. The kind of night where the woods feel alive with secrets whispered on the wind. But nothing could prepare 7 witnesses for what was about to fall from the sky. 2 young brothers, Edward and Fred May, were playing outside when a bright, glowing object streaked overhead and crashed somewhere deep in the nearby hills. It wasn't just a shooting star or a falling meteor. It was something different, something alive. The boys ran home, breathless, to tell their mother, Kathleen May. Along with a local National Guardsman, they set out to find the source of the mysterious light. As they ventured into the woods, the night air grew thick and heavy, almost electric. Then, in a small clearing, something appeared, towering and otherworldly. A creature nearly 10 feet tall, with glowing orange eyes that seemed to burn through the darkness. Its body was covered in what witnesses described as a metallic cloak or armor, shimmering but heavy, like something not of this world. Around it hung a thick fog, a strange mist that burned their eyes and caused intense nausea. The air tasted sharp, chemical, and unnatural. The group froze in terror. The creature did not move like any animal they knew. It stood still, watching, its presence filling the clearing with a weight impossible to ignore. The witnesses fled in panic, coughing and dizzy from the toxic fog, their hearts pounding as the creature's eerie gaze followed them into the night. News of the sighting spread quickly. Flatwoods became a hot spot for rumors. Alien visitation, secret military experiments, mass hallucinations. But the truth behind that night remains elusive. What fell from the sky that evening? What was the source of the strange fog and the creature's presence? Tonight, we dive deep into the chilling encounter known as the Flatwoods Monster, an event that still haunts Appalachia decades later. Stay with us until the end to uncover secrets, strange symbols, and a mystery that refuses to be forgotten. Because some nights, the forest remembers. Flatwoods, West Virginia, in 1952, was a quiet town surrounded by thick Appalachian forests, remote, isolated, and steeped in old legends. The kind of place where every rustle in the trees could mean something more. Kathleen May, a local mother, was tending to her children, Edward and Fred, when they burst into the house, eyes wide with fear and excitement. They'd seen a strange light fall from the sky, something no one could explain. Determined to uncover the truth, Kathleen joined the boys and the local National Guardsman, Captain Thomas, to investigate. The three of them made their way into the dense woods just after dusk, their flashlights barely cutting through the creeping darkness. The forest seemed to close in around them, thick branches and underbrush tangled beneath the moonlight. As they walked deeper, a faint glow began to emerge, a pale, unnatural light that pulsed softly through the trees. The air grew heavier, and a faint chemical smell tickled their noses. Suddenly, the ground beneath their feet seemed to vibrate faintly, as if the earth itself was alive. Then, in a small clearing, the source of the light revealed itself. There it stood, an enormous figure towering above the treetops, its eyes blazing orange like molten metal. The creature's cloak shimmered with an otherworldly sheen, reflecting the pale light back at them. Around the being, a thick, low-hanging mist swirled, its edges crackling faintly, burning their skin and eyes as it drifted toward them. Kathleen, Captain Thomas, and the boys felt a sudden wave of nausea and dizziness, their stomachs turning as the toxic fog enveloped them. They tried to step back, but the creature's gaze seemed to root them to the spot. Then, as quickly as it had appeared, the figure vanished into the mist, leaving behind only a chilled, heavy silence. The group fled the woods, coughing and gasping for fresh air. The image of the towering monster burned into their memories. The encounter would soon become a local legend, attracting media attention and sparking heated debates about what really lurked in the Appalachian shadows. But for Kathleen and her sons, the fear was very real, and just the beginning of a mystery far deeper than anyone imagined. The creature that Kathleen May, her sons Edward and Fred, and Captain Thomas encountered was unlike anything seen before or since. According to their accounts, it stood nearly 10 feet tall, towering above the trees. Its eyes were bright, glowing orange, casting an unnatural light in the dark clearing. Witnesses described them as burning embers, alive and watching. Its body was cloaked in what looked like a metallic robe or armor, smooth and reflective, yet strangely organic. Some said it shimmered with hues of green and red, shifting with every movement. The creature's head was elongated, shaped almost like a spade or a heart, with no visible mouth or nose. Instead, its presence exuded a silent, ominous power that seemed to communicate without words. Most disturbing was the thick, choking fog surrounding it, a mist that caused immediate physical symptoms. The witnesses felt a burning sensation in their eyes and throats, followed by dizziness and nausea. Captain Thomas later described it as the worst feeling I've ever had. He had to hold his stomach to keep from vomiting. The source of the mist remains unknown. Was it a defense mechanism, a natural byproduct, or something else entirely? Scientists have since debated if the fog could have been caused by nerve agents or chemical weapons, especially given the proximity to a military hospital conducting chemical tests nearby that very day. Some believe the creature itself might have been affected or even created by these experiments. Others argue it was extraterrestrial, visiting our world cloaked in unknown technology. Local residents reported strange after effects from the encounter: persistent headaches, nightmares, and a sense of being watched long after the creature disappeared. The event ignited a media frenzy, dubbing the figure the Flatwoods Monster. Despite numerous investigations, no conclusive evidence was ever found. No photos, no physical traces, only eyewitness testimonies, and the lingering question: what exactly was that being? The encounter remains a chilling reminder that sometimes the unknown is far closer than we think, and far more terrifying. News of the Flatwoods encounter spread rapidly, captivating the nation's imagination. Headlines screamed about aliens, monsters, and government cover-ups. The story became front-page news in newspapers across America. The small town of Flatwoods was suddenly thrust into the spotlight. Reporters, curiosity seekers, and skeptics flooded the area, each looking for answers or a hoax to expose. Local residents were divided. Some believed the witnesses were telling the truth, while others dismissed the event as mass hysteria or misidentified natural phenomena. Scientists weighed in, proposing several explanations. Many suggested the witnesses had seen an owl. A barred owl's glowing eyes and shadowy form might appear monstrous in the dark. Others argued the fog was simply mist combined with stress and fear. But none of these theories accounted for the physical symptoms: the nausea, burning eyes, and dizziness reported by those present. The press frenzy fueled conspiracy theories. Was it a secret military experiment? A crashed UFO? A government cover-up to hide advanced technology? The U.S. Air Force's Project Blue Book took note, categorizing the event as an unidentified flying object sighting, but offered no official explanation. In the months following, sightings of strange lights and unexplained phenomena in the region increased, adding fuel to the fire. The Flatwoods Monster became a cultural icon, inspiring books, documentaries, and even a town festival celebrating the legend. Despite intense scrutiny, no definitive proof emerged to confirm or debunk the story. The tension between skepticism and belief only deepened the mystery. Even today, the media storm surrounding the Flatwoods Monster serves as a reminder of how the unknown can grip a community, sparking fear, fascination, and endless questions. As the media frenzy swirled, a new and chilling detail came to light. On the very same day as the Flatwoods encounter, September 12, 1952, a nearby military hospital had been conducting secret chemical weapons tests. The Edgewood Arsenal, located just miles away, specialized in researching nerve agents and experimental toxins. Documents later revealed the facility was testing substances that could cause nausea, respiratory distress, and hallucinations. Could these experiments explain the strange fog and the physical symptoms the witnesses experienced? Some researchers proposed the creature itself was a product of these tests, an unintended mutation, or a test subject gone rogue. Others suggested the mist was a chemical cloud accidentally released into the surrounding forest. Military officials at the time remained tight-lipped, fueling rumors of a government cover-up. Locals whispered about strange convoys and increased security near the hospital in the weeks following the incident. A few reports surfaced of mysterious figures in hazmat suits combing the woods, searching for something or someone. The proximity of the chemical tests cast a shadow over the event, adding a layer of conspiracy to an already baffling mystery. Was the Flatwoods monster an alien visitor, or was it a byproduct of human experimentation? Did the government hide the truth to avoid panic, or to protect a secret weapon? Decades later, Freedom of Information requests uncovered some files, but many remain redacted or missing entirely. The lack of transparency only deepens the suspicion. The Flatwoods encounter sits at the intersection of folklore and Cold War paranoia, a moment where science, fear, and secrecy collided. And while the truth remains buried beneath layers of official silence and speculation, the questions linger. What really happened in those Appalachian woods? What secrets does the mountain still hold? Months after the initial encounter, a second expedition was organized, this time by local investigators eager to uncover physical evidence of the mysterious creature. Armed with flashlights, cameras, and a sense of determination, the team ventured back into the dense Appalachian woods near Flatwoods. The forest was quiet, too quiet. Branches creaked underfoot, but no animals stirred. The investigators moved cautiously, eyes scanning for any sign of the creature. As they reached the clearing where the encounter had occurred, strange footprints caught their attention. The impressions were unlike any animal known to the region. Large, deep, and oddly shaped, almost humanoid, but distorted, with elongated toes. Nearby, trees bore fresh carvings, symbols and markings that defied explanation. Some resembled ancient runes. Others appeared to be cryptic geometric shapes, etched deep into the bark. The team recorded these anomalies with intense focus, hoping to analyze them later. But as night fell, an eerie atmosphere enveloped the woods. Suddenly, a low, metallic growl echoed through the trees. It was a sound unlike any animal, a mechanical roar, mixed with a guttural snarl that sent chills down the investigators' spines. The team froze, their flashlights trembling in their hands. No creature appeared, but the presence was unmistakable. It was as if the forest itself was warning them to leave. Shaken, the investigators retraced their steps, feeling watched by unseen eyes. Back in town, the expedition's findings sparked renewed debate. The strange footprints and carvings baffled experts and fueled speculation about the creature's origin. Had the Flatwoods monster left these marks? Were they evidence of an unknown species, or something far more sinister? The metallic growl remained unexplained, a haunting reminder that some secrets are guarded fiercely. For those who dared return to the forest, the woods held more questions than answers, and the legend of the Flatwoods monster only grew darker. The Flatwoods encounter didn't end when the creature disappeared into the woods. For Kathleen May, her sons, Captain Thomas, and the other witnesses, the fear lingered long after that night. Many reported recurring nightmares, visions of glowing orange eyes watching from the shadows, red lights flickering in the distance, and a heavy presence that refused to let go. Some described waking in cold sweats, feeling as though unseen eyes followed their every move. The physical symptoms Nausea, headaches, and irritations persisted for weeks, leading some doctors to suspect exposure to toxic substances. But it was the psychological toll that weighed heaviest. Witnesses spoke of anxiety and paranoia that disrupted their daily lives. Friends and neighbors grew distant, uncertain whether to believe the terrifying accounts or dismiss them as hysteria. Some claimed the creature's influence stretched beyond that single night. Local folklore began to weave the Flatwoods monster into a larger narrative, a guardian of the woods, or a warning of unseen dangers lurking beneath the Appalachian canopy. Stories emerged of strange lights seen by hikers and hunters years later, accompanied by a creeping sense of dread. The monster's legend grew into a symbol of the unknown forces residing just beyond human perception. Psychologists today would likely classify such experiences as trauma-induced hallucinations or shared delusions. Yet, for those who lived it, the memories remain vivid and real. The fear etched deep into their souls. Flatwoods itself embraced the legend, turning it into a cultural phenomenon, complete with festivals and museums dedicated to the mysterious visitor. But beneath the celebrations, a shadow remains, a reminder that some mysteries do not fade with time. They linger in the dark, waiting. Decades have passed since the Flatwoods monster first appeared, yet its true nature remains a mystery. Over the years, countless theories have emerged, each attempting to explain the creature and the strange events of that night. One popular theory suggests the creature was a misidentified barred owl. The bird's large size, glowing eyes caused by light reflection, and a distinctive call might have sparked fear in the witnesses. However, this explanation fails to account for the creature's enormous height, the toxic fog, and the physical symptoms experienced by those present. Others propose the fog was a result of chemical agents released by the nearby military hospital, Edgewood Arsenal. These nerve agents could have caused hallucinations, dizziness, and nausea, perhaps creating a collective false memory of a monster. But the strange footprints, carved symbols, and metallic growls challenge this theory. Alien visitation remains a favorite among conspiracy theorists. The creature's metallic appearance, glowing eyes, and the mysterious lights align with classic UFO lore. Yet, no concrete evidence supports this, and skeptics argue the story was exaggerated or fabricated to cover up military activities. Some paranormal enthusiasts speculate that the creature might be an interdimensional being, a guardian of the boundary between worlds. This idea draws on local Cherokee legends of spirits watching the forests, using light to communicate warnings. Natural phenomena, such as ball lightning or rare atmospheric effects, have also been suggested, but do not explain the reported symptoms and physical traces. Experts remain divided, and the lack of physical evidence leaves the mystery open. What is undeniable is that the Flatwoods monster embodies the tension between fear and fascination with the unknown. It stands as a symbol of human curiosity and the limits of our understanding. No matter the explanation, the story continues to captivate, haunt, and inspire, and it reminds us that some questions may never find answers. The Flatwoods monster has left a lasting mark far beyond the woods of West Virginia. Over the decades, it has evolved from a terrifying encounter into a cultural phenomenon that still captures imaginations. In Flatwoods itself, the legend has become part of local identity. The town embraces the story, hosting annual festivals and creating museums dedicated to the mysterious visitor. Tourists come from across the country, hoping to glimpse the place where history and mystery intertwine. The creature also inspired countless books, documentaries, and films. It is often cited alongside other famous cryptids, becoming a staple of American folklore and UFO mythology. More importantly, the story paved the way for further investigations into unexplained phenomena in the Appalachian region. Sightings of strange creatures, mysterious lights, and unexplained disappearances have increased curiosity and research into the area's secrets. The legacy of the Flatwoods monster lives on in the stories shared around campfires, the hushed whispers in the woods, and the relentless pursuit of truth by those fascinated by the unknown. Yet, the monster remains elusive, never fully captured or understood. It serves as a reminder of humanity's fear of what lies beyond comprehension and our unending desire to explore the shadows. For some, the legend is a warning, a symbol of hidden dangers lurking in forgotten places. For others, it is a beacon of wonder, an invitation to question reality. Either way, the Flatwoods monster's legacy is undeniable. It continues to haunt the Appalachian Mountains, a mysterious figure bridging folklore, fear, and the search for meaning. Decades have passed, yet the Flatwoods monster remains one of the most enduring mysteries in American folklore. Despite countless investigations, witness testimonies, and media coverage, the truth behind that fateful night in 1952 has never been fully uncovered. Was it an alien visitor, a secret military experiment gone wrong, or a creature from the depths of Appalachian legend? No one knows for sure. The woods of Flatwoods still hold their secrets, and those who dare venture into the darkness sometimes report strange lights flickering between the trees, unexplained noises, and the lingering sense of being watched. The creature itself was never seen again, but its presence continues to haunt the memories of those who encountered it and the imaginations of millions. What happened in those woods remains open to interpretation, but one thing is clear: some mysteries refuse to fade. They grow stronger, pulling us deeper into the unknown. If you've ever experienced something strange, whether here or elsewhere, your story matters. Share your experiences in the comments below. Join the conversation and help keep the search for truth alive. Subscribe for more chilling mysteries, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because in the shadows of Appalachia and beyond, there are stories still waiting to be told. And maybe, just maybe, one day, the Flatwoods monster will reveal its secrets. Until then, the mystery lives on. Story 3. The Hellhound of Valle Crucis. I've driven a lot of dark roads in my life, but nothing prepared me for what happened that night near Valle Crucis. It was the fall of 1980. I was in college. My friend Mark had just gotten a beat-up Dodge Dart, and we were looking for a late-night thrill, one of those dumb weekend drives with no destination, just music, jokes, and the smell of cheap gas and cigarettes. We'd heard rumors from some locals about strange things around Valle Crucis. Most of it sounded like ghost stories, haunted cemeteries, old bridges, banshee screams in the woods. We laughed it off, of course, but just outside town, on a narrow 2-lane road, something jumped in front of our car. It wasn't a deer. It wasn't a dog. It was too fast, too wrong. A massive black figure leapt from the trees and landed directly in front of us. Mark swerved hard. The tires screeched. We nearly flipped. The thing didn't move like an animal. It hovered for half a second, almost like it wanted us to see it. I remember its eyes first, glowing red, like burning coals buried in pitch-black fur, and then it was gone, back into the trees. We pulled over, shaken. Mark was gripping the wheel, like it might escape him. Neither of us spoke for a full minute. That silence, it was heavier than the crash we almost had. I didn't know it yet, but that thing, the one with the red eyes, wasn't just passing through. It had been waiting for someone to notice it. And we did. The next day, we tried to laugh it off, told ourselves it was just some big stray dog, or maybe a black bear, sick with mange. But deep down, we knew better. There was something unnatural in the way it moved, something that felt wrong. Mark had grown up not far from Valle Crucis. He told me about an old church on the edge of town, St. John's Episcopal. People said the graveyard behind it was cursed. 3 creeks converged there, right at the edge of the woods. Some locals claimed it was a spiritual crossroads, a place where things came through that didn't belong here. So that evening, just before sunset, we drove back. Call it stupidity, curiosity, or something else pulling us in. I needed to see that place. The church stood alone, half hidden by trees and overgrown brush. Its white paint was peeling, its windows dusty with age. Behind it, a rusted iron gate led into the graveyard. We walked through slowly, not saying much. The silence felt thick, like the world had taken a breath and forgot to let it go. Gravestones leaned at odd angles, some too old to read. The air was damp, and everything smelled like wet moss and stone. Then we found it, the bridge, an old wooden structure stretched across a narrow creek behind the cemetery. It wasn't marked on any map. The boards creaked under our steps, and just standing on it made my skin crawl. Mark whispered something I still remember, clear as day. This is where it always shows up, right here. I asked him what he meant by it. He didn't answer. We shouldn't have gone back at night, but we did. Something about that bridge. It stuck in my head. The way the air changed around it. The way Mark's voice had dropped when he said, "It shows up here." We drove out again after dark, headlights cutting through the fog like knives. The road was empty, winding through forest so thick it felt like it could swallow us whole. As we neared the church, the air turned icy. The windows fogged up from the inside. Mark had the heat on full blast, but it didn't help. We passed the cemetery. Then the bridge came into view. That's when we heard it. A deep, snarling growl, low and guttural, coming from the trees to our left. Mark slammed the gas. The engine whined. We shot forward, but it was already beside us. I looked out my window and saw it, running parallel to the car at 50 miles an hour. Huge, black, muscles like wet rope under its skin. Its eyes were burning red, just like before. But this time, it wasn't just watching. It was hunting. It kept pace with us effortlessly. Its claws scraped the pavement. I swear I saw sparks. And then, thump, something hit the roof. The whole car shook. A clawed paw slammed onto the windshield, cracking the glass from the corner. We screamed. Mark swerved again. I thought we were done, but as soon as we crossed the bridge, just inches past the final beam, everything stopped. No sound, no creature, nothing. The car coasted to a halt on the other side. We sat there, stunned. It didn't cross with us. Whatever that thing was, the bridge held it back. For now. The next morning, we went back. I don't know what we were thinking. Maybe we needed proof. Maybe we needed to convince ourselves we hadn't imagined it. The sky was overcast. Everything felt heavy, like the world hadn't woken up yet. We parked just before the bridge and started walking. The graveyard was quiet, but not peaceful. Birds didn't sing. No insects buzzed. Just the sound of our boots squelching through wet leaves and mud. Then we saw them. Footprints. Massive. Deep. Too big to be a dog. Each print had 4 distinct toes with long, claw-like impressions at the tips. The stride between them was enormous, as if the thing had been sprinting on all 4s. They led right up to the bridge, stopping just short of the wooden planks. Mark knelt down beside one and pressed his hand into the mud beside it. His fingers didn't even reach the edges. We followed the prints back toward the trees, and that's when we found the claw marks. Long, ragged gashes slashed into the bark of an old pine, almost 8 feet off the ground. The tree was still oozing so, and the temperature, it dropped fast. One moment, we were sweating. The next, we were shivering. I could see my breath. Mark turned to me and said, "It was real. It's still here." He didn't sound scared. He sounded certain. That same night, we brought gear, a motion sensor from Mark's engineering class, one of those that picks up infrared signatures, body heat. We mounted it on a small post facing the bridge. Next to it, we rigged a cheap camcorder to start recording if anything moved within 30 feet. We left the car nearby and waited. Hours passed. Midnight came and went. The forest felt like it was holding its breath. At 2:37 a.m., the sensor beeped. The camcorder clicked on. We stared at the readout on Mark's tablet. A heat signature had registered. Large, brief, then gone. No footsteps, no growl, just one strong spike, then silence. We rushed to the equipment. The bridge was empty, but the car, the inside windows were fogged. Ice crystals had formed on the windshield. Not outside, inside. We opened the doors, and cold air spilled out like dry ice fog. The dashboard thermometer read 28 degrees. Outside, it was a mild 52. None of it made sense. Mark checked the footage. There was static. And then, For 2 seconds, the camera captured something, not clear, just a blur, a dark shape, and a pair of red dots glowing in the lens, right at the edge of the frame. It was standing by the bridge, watching, waiting. We knew then it wasn't over. It had seen us, and it remembered. That was our last night in Valle Crucis. We didn't plan it that way, but after what happened, there was no going back. We returned to the same spot just before midnight. This time, we stayed inside the car. Mark set the camcorder on the dashboard. I kept my phone ready to record, just in case. It was dead silent. No wind, no crickets. Even the creek below the bridge sounded. Still, we sat there for over an hour. Nothing. Then, without warning, the temperature dropped. Instantly. The windows fogged up from the inside again. My skin prickled. I could feel the air turning heavy, like the pressure before a storm. Then, something moved in the rearview mirror. It wasn't walking this time. It jumped. The roof of the car bent with a loud metallic crunch. The whole frame trembled. Mark shouted. I froze. I looked through the windshield, just in time to see it crawl forward, across the hood. It was bigger than I remembered. Its fur rippled like smoke. Long claws dragged across the glass, leaving thin, white scratches. Its face was too close, eyes burning red, teeth like iron nails. It didn't bark. It didn't growl. It stared. And then the engine roared. But neither of us touched the key. The car lurched forward. We were moving, fast. The headlights caught the bridge just ahead. Mark hit the brakes. Nothing. The car was driving itself. The last thing I saw before we crossed the bridge was its head turning slowly, watching us go. It didn't chase us this time. It let us go, but not without a message. We barely had time to catch our breath after the car finally stopped. The engine died, and silence slammed over us like a heavy weight. Neither of us spoke at first. The night seemed to hold its breath along with us. When we finally opened the doors, cold air hit us like a wall, different from before, sharper, biting. I stepped out and looked at the hood. It was dented badly, like something heavy had landed on it. The windshield had spiderweb cracks, and the side mirrors were cracked too. But what got my attention most was the blood. Dark, thick stains smeared along the front bumper and dripping onto the road. Mark crouched down near the front tires. Look at these, he said. There, pressed into the soft mud beside the road, were hoof-like prints, not paws, hooves, 2 long split marks, like a goat's or a deer's, but bigger, deeper, and far more sinister. We followed the prints back toward the trees, but they disappeared abruptly. No trail, no sign of where it went, just the silence. And then the growl, low, distant, like a warning. We got back in the car quickly. Neither of us could speak about what we'd just seen. The bridge behind us stood quiet and still, like nothing had happened. But we knew better. Something lives there, something old, something that doesn't want to be found. Years have passed since that night, but I still wake up in the dark, heart pounding, hearing distant howls that don't belong to any animal. Valle Crucis is a quiet place, wrapped in the mist of the Appalachian Mountains. But beneath that calm, there's a darkness that never sleeps. People don't talk much about the hellhound openly. It's like an unspoken rule. Don't stop near that bridge after dark. Don't challenge whatever watches from the shadows. Mark and I never returned after that night. We moved on, but the memories stayed with us like a shadow we can't shake. I've heard other stories, whispers from locals, drivers seeing red eyes staring at them from the roadside, footprints too large for any known animal, strange cold spots in the forest. Some say the hellhound is a guardian, a curse, or a lost spirit trapped between worlds. I don't know what it is, but I know what it can do, and I know what it saw in us. If you've ever felt watched in the woods, or seen something you couldn't explain, share your story below. We're not alone in this. Subscribe and hit the bell if you want more real stories from the darkest corners of Appalachia and beyond, because some mysteries don't just disappear, they follow, and next time, it might follow you. Story 4. The Moon-Eyed People of Fort Mountain. In the quiet shadows of Georgia's Fort Mountain, carved stones hold secrets older than anyone living today dares to speak aloud. Among the twisting trails and moss-covered rocks lie strange images etched into granite, tiny figures with oversized eyes, staring into the darkness as if watching something beyond our world. These aren't mere carvings. They are whispers from a forgotten time, recorded in stone and passed down through centuries. In 1797, explorers and settlers documented these mysterious markings along the rivers Hiwassee and Valley, noting the odd shapes that seemed too precise, too deliberate to be natural. But it wasn't just the carvings that sparked unease. Local legends told of small, pale people, almost invisible in the moonlight, whose eyes glowed like lanterns in the night. They were called the Moon-Eyed People. This story isn't just folklore. It's a lingering shadow, a puzzle that refuses to be solved. Those who've wandered these woods at night speak of fleeting glimpses, shapes darting between trees, eyes reflecting the moon's glow, whispers that echo like wind through the stones. If you think this is just a tale to scare children, think again. Some say the Moon-Eyed People still roam these mountains, hidden from our sight, but very much present. Before we dive deeper into the legend, I want you to pause and consider, what would you do if you felt unseen eyes watching you in the dark? Stay with me. The story has only just begun. The Cherokee people, who have lived in these mountains for centuries, speak in hushed tones about the Moon-Eyed People. According to their stories, these were small, pale-skinned beings with enormous eyes that glowed faintly in the dark, eyes adapted to the night. They weren't just mythical creatures, but once a real tribe that lived deep within the caves and hollows of the Appalachian Mountains. These beings were said to avoid sunlight at all costs. The light burned their skin, forcing them to emerge only under the cover of darkness, hence the name Moon-Eyed. The Cherokee believed they were invisible to most human eyes, slipping silently through shadows and stone. Legends warn that these mysterious people were the original inhabitants of the region, displaced or hidden away as new tribes moved in. Some accounts describe encounters with travelers who glimpsed quick movements in the woods or heard soft whispers on the wind, voices that no living human could produce. Their connection to the land was spiritual, tied closely to the mountains and caves they called home. Many Cherokee elders speak of the moon-eyed people as guardians or spirits, though others warn they might be something far more dangerous, beings with knowledge and powers beyond human comprehension. These stories have survived centuries, passed down from generation to generation, but always with a warning: respect the shadows, and never seek to reveal what wishes to remain unseen. As we uncover more about their mysterious existence, the line between folklore and reality begins to blur. Next, we will explore the strange, ancient walls and carvings found at Fort Mountain, stone structures that may hold the key to understanding who these moon-eyed people really were. Fort Mountain is home to one of the most perplexing mysteries in the Appalachian region, an ancient stone wall stretching nearly a mile along the ridge. Built centuries ago, its purpose remains unknown. Some say it was a fortification, others a ceremonial structure, but none can explain the precise, intricate carvings etched into its stones. These carvings depict tiny humanoid figures, often with disproportionately large eyes, echoing the descriptions of the moon-eyed people. The symbols are unlike anything else found in Native American art. Geometric shapes interwoven with enigmatic creatures, all etched into granite that has withstood time and weather. Archaeologists have debated the origins of the wall for decades. Some argue it was constructed by early indigenous peoples. Others suspect an even older, lost civilization. The Cherokee themselves regard the site with a mix of reverence and fear, believing the wall is a boundary, a barrier between our world and the realm of these mysterious beings. The stone walls also align with certain celestial events, hinting at a knowledge of the cosmos that seems advanced for the era. Could the moon-eyed people have been more than simple cave dwellers? Were they astronomers, builders, or something else entirely? Visitors to Fort Mountain often report an eerie sensation, like the stones themselves are watching. There have been accounts of sudden chills, faint whispers, and inexplicable shadows moving along the wall. In the next chapter, we'll dive into modern sightings and strange noises reported by locals and explorers, encounters that continue to blur the line between myth and reality. The moon-eyed people may no longer be hidden solely in legends. They may still be here, watching, waiting. In recent decades, the mystery of the moon-eyed people has taken on a new life through eyewitness accounts and strange occurrences. Near Fort Mountain, locals speak of fleeting shadows darting between trees under the moonlight, shapes too small to be human, yet too deliberate to be animals. Several hikers have reported seeing pairs of glowing eyes watching them from the darkness. Those eyes, unnervingly large and reflective, disappear when approached, leaving behind only a chilling silence. Others tell of hearing whispers, soft, unintelligible murmurs that seem to echo from the stone walls themselves, as if the very earth is alive and speaking. Some who camp near the ruins have awoken to find mysterious footprints around their tents, small, barely human, and vanishing into the underbrush without a trace. Electronic devices malfunction inexplicably, Cameras fail to record, GPS units lose signal, and flashlights flicker when pointed toward certain sections of the mountain. Paranormal investigators have been drawn to the site, setting up infrared cameras and audio recorders, hoping to capture evidence. On more than one occasion, they have recorded unexplained lights moving in circular patterns around the stone walls and faint voices carried on the wind. These incidents have deepened the mystery and stirred debate. Are these the restless spirits of the moon-eyed people, or something else entirely? Some speculate a hidden tribe still lives beneath the mountain, cloaked in shadows and secrecy. Whatever the truth, the mountain keeps its secrets well. Many locals have sworn never to venture there after dark, fearing the gaze of unseen watchers. Our journey now leads to a remarkable historical discovery, a letter from 1792 that may provide clues to the origins of the moon-eyed people and their strange architecture. In the dusty archives of early American history, a curious letter surfaced, written in 1792 by Leonard Marbury to President George Washington. Marbury described something astonishing: nocturnal beings who build walls before dawn, creatures that worked silently under the cover of darkness, shaping stone with mysterious intent. This letter has puzzled historians and cryptologists for centuries. Could Marbury have been referring to the moon-eyed people of Fort Mountain? His words suggest a living presence behind the ancient stone walls, an unseen force shaping the land long after daylight faded. Marbury's description matches many details from Cherokee folklore: the small stature, the avoidance of sunlight, and the strange architectural feats that defy explanation. His letter hints that these beings were not mere myth, but entities encountered by early settlers and government officials. Further complicating the mystery is Marbury's mention of silent footsteps and glowing eyes seen in the woods, adding credibility to eyewitness reports from both the past and present. Some scholars argue Marbury's account was exaggerated or symbolic, but the letter remains one of the few historical documents that directly ties folklore to physical evidence. This discovery fuels modern expeditions seeking to understand what or who built the walls and what secrets they guard. Next, we will explore a nighttime expedition where investigators captured eerie lights and witnessed the stones seemingly come alive, deepening the enigma of the moon-eyed people. A group of researchers and paranormal investigators ventured into Fort Mountain under a moonless sky, armed with cameras, night vision gear, and a determination to uncover the truth behind the moon-eyed people. As the night deepened, the atmosphere grew heavy, almost suffocating, as if the mountain itself was holding its breath. Around midnight, their cameras caught something extraordinary: faint, pulsating lights moving in circular patterns near the ancient stone walls. The glow wasn't consistent with any natural phenomenon. It was deliberate, almost intelligent. The team followed the lights, but they vanished as suddenly as they appeared. Then, the ground beneath their feet began to tremble lightly. The stones of the ancient wall seemed to shift imperceptibly, as if the structure was alive, reconfiguring itself under the cloak of darkness. The team's audio equipment picked up low, unearthly humming and whispered sounds that defied explanation. Panic and awe mixed in the air. Some felt they were trespassing on sacred ground, while others were convinced they were witnessing a supernatural event tied directly to the moon-eyed people. No one dared stay past the early hours. When dawn broke, the walls appeared unchanged, yet none could explain the night's occurrences. These phenomena challenge everything we know about the mountain and its mysterious inhabitants. Are the moon-eyed people real entities, controlling the stone walls? Or is it something far stranger, beyond human comprehension? In the next chapter, we delve into the phenomenon of the living architecture itself, the stone walls that mysteriously rearrange, confounding all attempts to replicate their form by day. One of the most baffling mysteries of Fort Mountain is how the stone walls seem to change their shape overnight. Visitors and researchers who study the ruins closely have noted that the precise geometric patterns carved into the rocks rarely remain the same from one day to the next. Attempts to document and replicate these patterns during daylight have consistently failed. The walls appear to rearrange themselves, as if guided by an unseen force. Some stones seem to shift subtly, altering the layout of the ancient structure in ways that defy natural explanation. This phenomenon challenges the idea of static architecture and suggests the walls might be a living, dynamic entity. The moon-eyed people, according to legend, were skilled builders with knowledge beyond their time. Perhaps their connection to the mountain extends to controlling these stones in ways modern science cannot yet understand. The locals' fear of the site is understandable. To witness something so fluid, so alive, it shakes the foundations of what we believe about reality. Could these walls be a barrier, a protective shield, or even a gateway to another realm? Whatever the truth, the changing walls guard their secrets fiercely. No one has ever been able to reproduce the exact layout of the ruins after nightfall, and those who have stayed too long tell of strange sensations, of being watched, of time bending. This mystery keeps the legend of the moon-eyed people alive, not just as folklore, but as a living enigma that continues to challenge our understanding. Next, we'll reflect on the lasting impact of these secrets and what it means to live with the unknown, lurking just beyond the moonlight. The mystery of the moon-eyed people and the shifting walls of Fort Mountain endures like a shadow cast under the pale light of the moon. For centuries, these secrets have been buried beneath layers of stone and legend, whispering their presence to those willing to listen. Locals still speak in hushed tones of strange figures glimpsed in the woods, eyes reflecting the moonlight, watching silently. The stone walls, ever changing, remain a silent testament to a past that refuses to be forgotten or fully understood. Some say these beings are guardians, protectors of sacred knowledge hidden within the mountain. Others warn they are remnants of a forgotten race, bound to the shadows, neither fully alive nor gone, whether myth or reality. The moon-eyed people challenge the way we see our world. They remind us that some truths lie hidden in plain sight, just beyond the reach of the daylight. If you've ever felt the pull of the unknown, the weight of unseen eyes upon you, Share your story below. The mysteries of Fort Mountain are not just relics of the past. They live on, waiting to be uncovered. Subscribe and hit the bell to join us as we continue to explore the darkest corners of history, folklore, and the paranormal. Because in the shadows, the greatest secrets await.